Good evening, everybody. My name is BR ATA, Mr. Michael. Sorry, Jesus. Wow, I got my name wrong. My name is ATA, Mr. Michaels, and welcome to Above the Apex GP2 Division Round Canada. Sorry for those that were watching us earlier. I had a few host difficulties with the servers, but we are set and ready to go. 16 drivers are going to take it to the streets of Canada. Well. So, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all good and ready and waiting for these guys to entertain you. Hope they're going to entertain me. I'm in the comm box by myself tonight, but that's perfectly fine. A few new drivers in here tonight, or I say new, we've seen them before, but new to the division. But we should see how they go. And of course, we have a three-way championship lead going into tonight's race, so this could be very interesting indeed. Dry conditions for Q1. So yes, as I said, we have 16. So only one will be going out this session. And interestingly, Angerfist is going on the soft tyres. So we'll go through those new drivers when we see them. I'll run through them when we go out. But yeah, dry conditions, completely dry. Sunny as well, so that's a good start as they start heading out onto the track. So after a very dramatic race in Monaco last time out, what are we going to get here tonight as F1 Acer? Welcome back, Acer, in the Williams. He is back here tonight for the Canadian Grand Prix. Missed Monaco. Well, not many people really liked Monaco, to be honest, but should be quite interesting. Now, track limits are going to be a thing here tonight. You can see that, you know, the chicanes and the walls and track limits are very easy to do, even if you don't mean to do it. I mean, put a wheel over the curbs, and that could be quite interesting. So penalties, I'm afraid, may be a thing. You may see in qualifying as well of the lap times being disallowed because of the track limits. Yeah, definitely could be quite interesting indeed to see. But Ace is going to be setting the first time as he goes down the long straight to the final chicane, which is very, very tricky. Of course, you've got the Wall of Champions on the outside, which have claimed many a victim, including very famous drivers in real life, as Ace gets very, very close to the outside and he starts his lap. So we go down into turn one. Very, very tricky turn one. Turn one and lap one is going to be very, very interesting to see because very narrow, very short run down to first corner. He's gone through turn 2 and 3 very nicely. Now to the first chicane. This is a very problematic because you've got to go straight in, and if you go over either curb, that will give you a penalty, and I think he has invalidated his lap time. He has indeed. 20.5 on the first set was interesting, but go for third gear for the second chicane. There's basically 4 chicanes on this track which you need to nail. Now coming onto the Fly Emirates bridge there, into these next chicanes, mind on the wall on the outside because that can damage your car. Now down into the hairpin where we may see a lot of overtakes down here. I'm going to get the braking just right and get the exit very, very crucial exit, as if you then got the straight. Quite simple track, but if you want to be fast, you've got to be using the limits to the best of your ability, basically, and go over them, as I said. Then you will be in trouble as it goes through the final chicane. The curbs are absolutely monstrous. As you can see, he's on 2 wheels and he's actually clipped the Wall of Champions there. I'm pretty sure this lap was invalidated, and it was indeed. So he's got to go around again. We're going to see that a lot here tonight, maybe in Q3 where the action really gets underway. There's a spinning Haas actually. That's late. Just come out the pits, and I believe he was actually on a lap. Indeed, he was. So he's spun it on Freight on the first corner. Desert Eagles popped in on a 12.7. Has just beaten Optical G on a 13.2. So good lap times here. Here's Craig Senna on the super soft tyre. This is a very good time indeed, but gets invalidated actually. Oh no, it doesn't. It's just a bit late coming up. It's a 12.8. So there we go. An 11.6 from HLG, our new championship leader. He's gone right in there on the ultra soft tyres in the Renault. And he's gone straight up there with an 11.6. That is a landmark. I do expect mid 11s, maybe low 11s for the best time here tonight. Of course, we do have some very fast drivers here today, so it'll be quite interesting. It's Petronas in the Ferrari. We've got to welcome it's Petronas. He's actually new to the league, so welcome there. He's in the Ferrari, partnering his good friend Exron Mansell. I believe he's friends anyway. Yeah, so that's good. F1 Acer just popped in the lap there, 1:12.1, so he's got in his second lap, and he's hit 1:12.1, so that's good. Oh, there we go, Angerfist in the Toro Rosso. That's another new driver. Of course, we did see him actually before in Spain, if you remember. He reserved in the Renault. He's been waiting for a seat. He now has one. He's in the Toro Rosso, partnering Bossman, who I'm afraid is not here tonight. Shame that he's not, but he's automatically gone on the 12.9 on the softs. Now, that seems a good lap, but with the tyre compound, because it's such a short lap, the tyre compound difference isn't that much. So, I mean, even so, 12.9 is very, very good indeed. So, we shall see. It's going to be definitely a one to watch. Mackie goes across and sets a 13.4 on the super softs. He's the other guy to set a lap time on there. Lakes is coming round now on a second lap. Let's see if he can nail the final chicane perfectly well. In fact, he's gone completely over, and that should be an invalidation from the game. Let's see. Yes, it is. So, struggling a little bit late with the track limits. Got to get some time in. Let's see. BDRW actually has hit a 12.6 in the Red Bull, and he is absolutely determined to finish a race here tonight. Of course, he did that incredible barrel roll, which we found out later was a lagged barrier, which you sometimes see in this game. A wonderful game created by Codemasters, always rate it very highly. But yes, he did a barrel roll because of a lagged barrier, which is very weird to see. But yes, so he's determined to find out. He's currently gone third on a 12.6. Next one, Mansell on the Ferrari has just done a 12.6 as well. And you can see, as I just go to the leader, you can see there, you got third down to 8th, Angerfist, is 3/10. So, and of course, these guys have only just sent out first laps because there's only one person being knocked out in Q1. Now, here's a interesting driver for you, Leafly. He was introduced to the championship at the start of the season. He was racing in Australia, I believe, actually, for Ferrari. He unfortunately wasn't able to race because of certain commitments, but he's now back. He's practiced, he's got better, and yeah, so he is back with us in the championship. He's currently reserving, so he's reserving for Red Bull tonight, which I believe would actually normally be a new driver which we've got in, which will make his debut in Baku. So for now, we've got Leafly in the Red Bull. Yes, we can see what he can do. Angerfist has actually improved to a 12.7, so maybe that lap on softs. Jesus, Angerfist is going to be very quick tonight. But here is Leafly as he comes down to the final chicane right now. Looks a pretty interesting lap as he comes to the final chicane, but this is always the crucial point, and he's absolutely nailed that to perfection. And he's going to come across the line now, and it's a 1:12.1, gets right in there, so he's right up there at the top. I remember rightly, actually, in Australia he didn't really do that well. He was outside the top 10, so he's definitely improved, and he's come back. He's in the fight with Leafly and Acer there, but still 1:11.6 from HRG in the Renault. Definitely be one to watch. The only one in the 1:11 so far. Only 3 drivers yet to set lap time. Shadow Race in the Sauber has just gone through on a 13.6, and the other 2 are Gary and Fast Part-Time. So those are the only 2 yet to set a time. Remember, we're only losing the driver in 16th place. So that is the number that we're looking for, and then obviously we go through to Q2 and Q3. As Gary Allbone is another one really to watch out for tonight in the Force India. He's recently joined the league from Spain, and he comes across the line and does a 13.0, but it's invalidated, so He's having trouble with track limits. It is going to be a thing here tonight. The positions will unfortunately be decided by penalties, I believe, or whether someone does or whether someone doesn't. Everyone had penalties in the F1 division tonight because everyone's just so pushing and competitive. As I said, didn't even... Oh, as there with him, he wasn't concentrating at all, it seemed, and he's run over the curbs there. He's coming across the line. The timing is a little bit delayed as they cross. 14.5, 13.5, I don't know, yeah, the timing's a little bit skew-whiff, actually, when they come across the line, which is not good to see. But Dom and Gary both struggling. Why's Gary all the way over there? Saying hello to the crowd, maybe? Perhaps. Interesting. Here comes Lates in the Haas. He's nailed this chick, a little bit jumpy, actually. Not exactly great. I think he's got damage, actually, as well, as he crosses the line. It's a 14.4, but again, invalidated. He's not having a nice time, really. He's really in trouble. 26.0 is his only validated lap. Skyline on the Super Softs is coming round now. Now, last night I made the catastrophic mistake of setting the time on Super Soft, which I thought was good enough, and I got knocked out. So in Q1, so started 17th. So you've got to be really, really on it, and you need to be absolutely certain that your time is going to go through. Now, I would say Ryan should be fine with a 13.1, but you never know. You never know. This track is so small that the times are very, very close. So we're going to see, you know, tenths or even thousands covering people. You know, 1/10 will mean you go through and the other 10th will not. So it's interesting, and it does seem that the midfield is very, very tightly packed. I mean, obviously Angerfist has got a lot of time. The soft tyres is a Ferrari. What is that Ferrari doing? He's come straight back out and just about stayed out of the way of Skyline, who improves to a 13.0, but not much of an improvement. So I know, but that was different. Lates has improved to a 14.2, but I'm afraid that might not be enough, because the only other person yet to set a time is Fast Park Time, as Gary's actually set a 13.5. So it's all up to Dom now to see what he can do. Can he eventually set a lap time now as he comes across the chicane? Oh, very wide to the wide wall of champions, but he's coming across now. This looks pretty competitive, actually, if the time's right. 12.9, yes, there he goes. P10 is very delayed on the top right hand side of the screen. It's very delayed. It takes a few seconds before it comes up, but that should be enough on Fast Part Time. Let's bring it safely home now, and that should be nice. So now we're going to focus on Lates, my Haas driver. Okay, come on, Lates. So he's got just over 5 minutes, so he's got plenty of time if he goes back into the pits and gets a new fresh set of tyres on, which he does decide to do, so he's got plenty of time. And then the next person up will be Gary Allbone, who I said should be quite strong, but I think he's having a few problems. He's out of fuel as he comes across the line. I'll come back to the pits, I mean. Skyline goes through. That was a 19, so a few mistakes on his lap. Send quite a few laps on these Super Softs, actually. Quite interesting. Craig Senna, new. I say new. You've seen him before in the F1 division. He's been, I would say, demoted, but he's been swapped with Lukey 1210. We thought that was the better option to do. So, guys that obviously support Lukey, if there is anybody out there, I'm sure there is, you will see him in the F1 division in Baku next week. He's replaced Finley on Xbox Live, who unfortunately has left the league due to reasons. They will see him in the Toro Rosso. So Craig Senna is now full-time in Mercedes, which I do find quite interesting, because Skyline team owner, speaking of the devil, always seems to get fast drivers in his team. So very, very interesting as it comes now down to the final chicane. Of course, transfer window does open after next Grand Prix for these guys. Of course, details are still being finalised, and they will be told to everyone who's watching in ATA at the weekend. So details of that will be shown to you, but little details for you guys if obviously you're just watching us. Basically, the window opens after the Baku race, after each race. So F1 opens after their race in Baku on the Thursday, and then it opens for GP2 on the Friday. Now the way it will basically work is that it's basically driver swaps, in other words. A little bit more technical when you go to that because there's money involved. Each team basically over the course of this season has had budgets, and they can have money given to them for good race performances and have money taken away if the driver gets penalised. So that money has been kept noted by myself, and each team owner will be known in their budget, and then every driver, I believe, will be given a driver value, a base driver value, and like football basically, say for example Shadow Racer was valued at say 8 million. The team owner of him, which I believe is Purple Fairy, can say, you know, if say because I'm a team owner in Haas, say I go to Purple Fairy and say I want Shadow Racer for my team, and I offer you 8 million, his value. As X1 Mansell retires, and that's in the pits. As I said, 8 million, which is his value. But Purple Fairy can very much say, actually, I think Shadow Racer has potential, so I'm going to say you can have him for 10 million. So something like that. It depends how devious or how much money the team owner wants to really push the boundaries, basically. So there may be a few moves to see as we go round. So quite a few people are actually retiring now. We need to focus on Lates, because he is the one in trouble here as he comes down to the third of the chicanes. Again, every chicane on this track, you've got to get the line. It's like threading a piece of string for the needle. Threading the needle, you need to find the line. And if you go over it, like what Lates has done actually, into the wall. So I'm afraid actually that is not going to be him. I'm afraid we might see him coming out of Q1 because I don't think he'll improve with that damage. But he's still going to carry on. No, he's going into the pits now. So that's a shame to see, especially for myself. So he will be qualifying in 16th place on the grid. Obviously, we've got to wait for everyone else to come round. And if we just see from the leader, as you can see, it's half a second from Angerfest in 7th and Optical G in 13th, which, you know, if we carry on from this, is going to mean that the battle for Q2, you know, getting to the top 10 is going to be absolutely fascinating to watch. Could be interesting. And I have noticed it's got very overcast. Yeah, there's a few clouds, as you can see. So maybe there may be some rain later on in the session, perhaps when we go to Q3. Once again, Desert Eagle, he always does this, Desert Eagle. He always seems to go out late in the session when you don't need to. But, oh, he's coming back into the bits. There we go. So, everyone's going to retire from now, and we're going on to Q2. We're at the top 15 drivers, and unfortunately, the one driver that we eliminate is Lates from 16th. Not the end of the world for Lates, because you can, as maybe you've seen in F1 Division from last night from myself, can be done. And in fact, actually, you can see spits of rain, so we might actually see some rain in Q2 and even Q3. So that is interesting. I did notice the clouds as we get an interesting view of the McLaren Honda. Okay. That's weird. With no car. Fair enough. But there we go. There is the times set in the session. It was raining right at the end, so those clouds were not an illusion. There we go. Those are the drivers there. Red Bulls, 3rd and 4th. They're showing very good pace. As you can see, look at the gap from 4th down to 10th is 0.3 of a second. So look at that group. Absolutely fascinating. Of course, you've got Angerfist on the soft tyres. May show some pace, but obviously if you get rain in Q2, that is going to throw everything up in the air Track limits would definitely be a thing in the wet weather, that's for sure. But let's see what we're going to happen into Q2, and it is indeed raining, so there we go, intermediate tyres. And in fact the rain has actually intensified by quite a bit from the start, so maybe we may get some more rain later on in the session to make it full wet. Canada does seem to bring out the wet weather, but let's see who is going to come out first. I believe it's Desert Eagle. It is indeed. Who's out first? It's a train of cars, and that's Acer behind him. I recognise the helmet. One of the Saubers, that must be Shadow, and one of the Mercedes, I think, as well, has come straight out. Yeah, so that completely throws everything out the window. And what it also does is if we have a dry race, as Angerfist has a look at the wet tyres, interestingly. Yes, we do have a dry race, then you can start on any tyres you want. You get fresh tyres as well. So that's going to be very, very interesting if we get a dry race. Strategies could be very interesting to see what people do. But now we get into the territory of HLG's territory, because he is very good in wet weather, and he says he's very, very good around this track Canada in wet weather as well. So this could be quite interesting to see. Of course, he topped Q1, so he's in there, but all it takes is one mistake. If you can't get your lap in, you know, if you validate all of them, or if you even hit the wall, his chance is gone. So we shall see. But Desert Eagle is going to set the first lap indeed, and the difference between wet and dry in this track is very, very much, because you know those limits and the walls, indeed, as the World Champions gets very, very close, all of a sudden those walls and these track limits get very, very much bigger. So you're going to mind your braking. Braking is difficult this track as well, even more difficult under wet weather. But my tactic really for wet weather is just be smooth. Don't overdrive the car. You know the conditions aren't going to be as good as it was to dry, so you've got to accommodate. You've got to try different lines, and you know, often short shifting helps with the traction. A little bit more extra aero as well, but can be given to you. And as I said, you just got to be very, very smooth, very smooth. That's anything I can sort of give. It gives practice if you want to be good in the wet. But as Desert Eagle comes through, again, you've got to watch the track limits. That second curve there, that can cause some invalidations if you are too far up on the inside. You'll also see the lap times tumble in wet conditions. I mean, obviously you would. Well, this track is a lot more, so very interesting to see. As you go back onto this little camera here, as you go down to the final chicane, again, braking for the chicane is a lot more different. You've got to brake so much more earlier than you would normally. And let's see if he can nail it right. No, in fact he doesn't. He goes back into the pits. So interesting. Let's see who's going to set a lap first. There is a Albert Shadow on board of Master Optical Cheese. He comes through the chicane. I think he's one of the first to set a lap. There's a car in front of him, actually. No. And Optical is very cautious going through there. 23-1 from Skyline, beaten by... No, not beaten. 23-4. I'm just going to wait until the times come up, because I'm not going to look at the top right screen, honestly. But 23-1 from Squadaway and 22-1 for Leafly. Wow. Great time there from him. 22-5 from HLG right behind, and he's got a laggy Gary in front of him, so that might have hampered his lap. So Leafly at 22-1, that is great stuff. He's going to straighten these conditions brilliantly well. As Ace has actually lost it on the back straight. He set a time of a 28. Craig sending the Mercedes goes to 22 flat. There we go. So times are coming in as people get used to it. BDRW is up there in fourth as well. Desert Eagles is interested on the wets. Angerfist is on the super softs. In fact, what's happened to the rain? I swear that... Where's the rain gone? That was... What? Where the rain gone? Honestly, that is so weird. It was raining and now it's... No, that's completely thrown me. We've literally had a shower and then it's gone, and then the track is now completely dried up. That must be a glitch on my end, because that's really weird. Really weird. And that again is throwing stuff. Still, the rain stopped. It's taken what, 5 minutes? Wow. Fair enough then. Fair enough. So Craig has set the pace on a 22 flat, obviously looking at the Q3. Now we've only got 10 times so far, we've got 5 drivers yet to set a time. Angerfist has stayed in the pits. It's interesting looking at the Super Softs, he's not come out yet. Here's fast part time, he comes across the line and sets not a time. Validated. What does Mackie do? Again, not a time. Validated. So quite a lot of that happening. But what is going on? The front 10 are now in the pits, apart from Aces. They've run out of fuel, I think. So interesting scenes here. The rain just... Well, all of a sudden, Mackie! No! Mackie's out! Mackie has spun and lost it. He's gone. Oh my goodness me. He has lost it completely. The track has dried up so much. That's insane. The DRS is enabled as well. So we are going to see dry times. It's going to be a case of who's going to come across the line last, basically. We could have a very, very jumbled top 10. Indeed. Yeah, it's... That's really weird. I'm going to have to watch this later. Because I swear, when we started this session, it was, you know, intermediate, and I didn't even notice the rain stopping. So that's completely throwing me to. But unfortunately, Mackie is out of qualifying. He'll be starting at 15th at best. So unfortunate for him. And as you can see, guys are now on the dry tyres. Desert Eagle is one of the first to come out. He's on the Super Softs. So what I said about, you know, we might have a dry race and they won't set these times on these tyres, just forget about it now, because if you set a lap on these tyres on dries, then you'll be starting on them. So this will be interesting. Quite a few on Super Softs. Desert Eagle, Ankerfist, Gary, Optical, HLG and Leafly on Super Soft tyres, so very interesting stuff. That was a weird sort of brief stint on the wets, and now you can see it's dry. Obviously DRS is enabled, but it's still damp offline. You've got to be very, very careful. Well, the track is getting dry at the time. We've got a laggy barrier once again. Desert Eagle, so Desert Eagle should be the first person to set a lap time on these dry tyres, so we can see what the conditions are. Obviously we're looking at mid-11s to 12s, but I don't think we're there yet. Those kind of times, we can see the track is drying up very, very quickly. There's still spray, obviously, still a few wet patches, but it's drying up very quickly, even though it's still overcast in front. But maybe we get to see a completely bone dry Q3. That's really that really has thrown me. Welcome to the 10 views that we got here tonight. I don't have the chat open, which is you know, it's a shame, I know, but if I have it open, then I do get distracted and etc. But hope you're enjoying the race so far. Well, not in race so far, we're in qualifying. Dramatic qualifying so far. We've had obviously Q1 where we lost lates, unfortunately, in the halves, but now we started this session in intermediates and now it's drying up. So, and in fact the spray is almost completely gone from Eagle's car as he tips it into the final corner. Yellow flag's been set to 3. Oh, there's a fast part time's retired. Might have been him, but Desert Eagle sets a 15.2. So yeah, we're way off the optimum dry pace. He sets the first lap on a 15.2, and the track is just going to get better and better now. DRS enabled. HLG quite late opening it actually, as he now comes across to the final chicane. Can he nail this right? And he does indeed. A bit of laggy barrier on the outside. Getting everything here tonight as he crosses the line and sets a 14 flat. So yeah, as you can see, track is just getting drier and drier now, and obviously HLG is good in these conditions, so he's acclimatized this very, very quickly. Craig Sennett is on his out lap as well. It's on the Ultra Softs, interestingly, as is Mansell. There he is. Both Ferraris in there. F1 Acer, Shadow Racer on the Ultra Softs. Angerfist is down here in 15th at the moment, having yet to set a time. So just over, it's literally 5 minutes to go now This is all the rush to get into Q3. The track is just going to get quicker and quicker. I think it'll be perfectly dry by it surely will dry up completely by the end of these 5 minutes. The question is who is going to be out there. Desert Eagle's improved. He's now on a 14.2, so he's improved on his first run, on his first lap. And let's see the times coming in now. Obviously they're going a lot more faster than what they did early in this session, which is even more weirder. Here we go, Shadow Racer, currently P12. He's yet to set a time on the Ultra Softs. Let's see what he can do. He's actually getting across the line. Looks very good indeed. And yes, it's a 12.4. There you go. So he's gone right in there. The track is completely dry, I think, now. Completely dry. That's Van Angerfist staying just outside of the way of Shadow there. But Shadow goes fastest there. But the times are just tumbling down. Of course, remember, we're looking at mid-11s really for the fastest people, but maybe the track is completely dry now. It's been the most peculiar session, I must say, for this. But you've got to be out on the track now, and you've got to be setting those lap times. We've only got 3 people crossing the line so far who have bettered their intermediate times. So this is going to be really interesting as Asa comes out of the hairpin now. I'm just constantly looking at the top 3, which they've only got 3 minutes to go. Yellow flags all over the place. Quite a few people not getting used to this. You're literally probably only going to get 2 laps now from at this point, and it's still not. Actually, I was saying still not 100% perfect. I think it is right now as Asa crosses the line. Doesn't improve. He invalidated his lap time, so he's there. Craig goes into an 11.9. So good stuff from him. HLG once again improving. He's only on a 14 flat. He's got to be very, very careful. In fact, Desert Eagle as well, who's run out of fuel. Now, is Desert Eagle going to get back into the pits in time? That is another question. As Skyline, he comes in across now. Doesn't improve. Quite a few people really struggling with these track limits, which is going to make the race, unfortunately, quite interesting just for penalty-wise. Who's going to get it and who isn't? Let's see. Patronus has gone up to second on the 12.4. He's made himself relatively safe, but is that going to be safe enough? HLG definitely isn't on a 14 flat. If anyone behind him gets dry times in, you know, they could go very faster, but he's under pressure though because he's in between several cars. Let's see as he comes through across the line, very wide of the chicane, a little bit of jumpy. That's just his car. It's not challenging over 112, I don't think. In fact, no it doesn't, and Craig improves to 11.5. So Craig's on there in pace. He seems to be the only one that has gone straight into that, and the track is now fully dry. It says you've got to set your lap, and if you're under pressure, the track limits are right there. I know I keep on banging on about them, but they're so crucial at this track. As they would be. Desert Eagle's retired. He thinks he's safe on a 14.2. That is very, very risky. Very risky indeed. We've got a minute 25 to go. Quite a few people in the pits. Not BDRW, get confused being the Rebels. Leafly is coming across the line now, and he sets a 12.5. That should be safe. Should be. But there's a lot of guys setting times now. BDRW, Skyline, Mansell, Optical, Gary, Asa, and Angerfist. Of course, you've got Mackie and Part-Time, both retired. So, down to them. But here comes BDRW. He's nowhere near, actually, from the top runner. So I'll just wait until his time comes up, really. And no, doesn't improve his time. So quite a few people struggling here. And this is going to be a very much jumbled top 10. Very jumbled indeed. But let's have a look. What we've seen, HLG is in the pits. So both HLG and Desert Eagle on 14s. If any of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, and of course Angerfist is yet to set a time. I don't know where he is, but here comes Ryan as he crosses the line. 20 seconds to go, and 12.5. Yes, he goes up to P4. So he's safe up there now. Eagle's now in 8th place. Remember, it's 10th. There's a Force India right in front of BDRW. That's Gary. Well, Gary's on a lap as well, so very tense times between the two. They both got across the line. And you got Angerfist again. He's down in 15th. Under pressure as well. Both Gary and BDRW. They got across the line. Mansell as well is down to in 10th. But let's see what these two can do. Gary and BDRW across the line. BDRW's 4th. Gary's 8th. Eagle is in 10th. So it's now down to Mansell and Angerfist. Where's Angerfist? He's there. So if he sets a reasonable lap time on Super Softs, then he can knock Desert Eagle out. Mansell as well could also then put HLG out. Angerfist crosses the line, goes second. Eagle's out of qualifying. It's down to Mansell. It's dramatic stuff at the end. Let's see what Mansell can do. In the Ferrari, clobbers over the curbs. The final section, he's got to beat a 14 flat from HLG. And no, he invalidated his lap time, so HLG stays in, but Desert Eagle is out. Starts 11th on the grid. And breathe. And breathe. Wow. That all came flying in right at the end there. But very interesting stuff. There's a few messages in the chat going on there. Oh dear. But yes, there we go. The top 10. Top 10 there in qualifying. Very interesting stuff. But Desert Eagle starts 11th on the grid. Goodness me. Obviously, he did not score any points for the 2 rounds there. Yeah, very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. So we're now into the final shootout, the top 10 in Q3. Sorry guys, just sending out a message there in the chat. There we go. So here is the top 10. So we have Leafly in the... Actually, let's go through the race director. We got Leafly in the Red Bull. So both Red Bulls, Leafly and BDRW is in there. And we have a 1 Haas of Optical, 1 Ferrari of It's Petronas. We've got both Mercedes of Skyline and Craig. We have 1 Renault of HLG and 1 Force India of Gary and 1 Sauber of Shadow Racer. That is the, well, my own personal surprise from the from Q2. That already is the best qualifying session no matter what happens for Shadow Racer. First time he's in Q3, I believe. Unless he was in Q3 for that other mixed up top 10. I think it, well, I can't remember what track it was. Might be Spain. No, Russia. He might have been in Q3 in Russia actually, but I might check over that. But he doesn't normally qualify to into Q3, so this is good stuff for him. But of course, so if you're HLG and Skyline, obviously you're both 4 points ahead of Eagle in the championship. You're already thinking this could be a good race for us. You can qualify at the front, and Eagle's got to work through the pack. And then that very, very tight turn 1 on lap 1, the lap 1 shenanigans I'm going to call it, can very easily get caught up. And if you're right in the middle of the pack, which is what Eagle is, he's got to push through. But let's see what he can do. I mean, obviously if he comes right through the pack, then there we go. But he's got to prove his mettle as we start this session right now. Who's going to be on for pole? Of course, my money is on Angerfist. Leafly looks very strong. Craig looks strong. HLG looks strong. It's, I'd say it's a battle between those 5. Did I say 5? It might be 4. But, yes, could be very, very interesting indeed as we watch Leafly in the Rebel through there. Another interesting thing is completely dry once again. So we've had it all in the space of half an hour, basically. And we haven't even got the race yet. As Leafly goes round on the chicanes again. It's just getting that line right as it comes down into the hairpin. I call it the Rolex hairpin because of all the Rolex signs around. See Ryan doing it as he comes out of there. The amount of Rolex signs, that's ridiculous. As Shadow Racer gets a 13-1. So yeah, we're going to see quicker times than that, but he's into the top 3 as Leafly comes down into the final chicane. Got to get that very careful, very cautious actually, just brushes the Wall of Champions on the outside. What does he set? He sets an 11.9. We've seen mid-11s, so that's not the fastest defeat. HLG just beats it, 11.911. So that was good. Leafly was very, very cautious in that final chicane, so there's definitely some time there. HLG has put himself up there. See what anyone else is on. Skyline is coming through. There's Anger Fist and Craig. Craig has invalidated his first lap, I think. But let's see what Ryan can do as he goes through the final chicane. You need to attack the final chicane. And again, not using the curbs as much. Again, quite cautious. But let's see as he goes through. He sets a... Doesn't say anything. It's invalidated time. So there we go. Once again, BDRW goes third on a 12.2. That's good stuff from him. Shadow's in 4th at the moment. Barry and Optical are gone slower, so that's good. Leafly has gone for Anger Fist. An 11.2. There we go. That is a lap time and a half. And that is, well, that's going to throw... That has thrown the gauntlet down very, very much to these drivers. I think I can see that time before. Well, but Leafly's got an 11.2. So he's up there with him. So at least we've got competition up there. HLG's got an 11.3. So look at that. A 10th got in the top 3. And can Craig get up there? He's another one to look out for. And he comes across and sets a 12.3 only. He's a second off. Remember, he set an 11.5 in Q2. So we know he has the pace, but he's got more time than that. But a 10th now between the front 3. At least we got a battle at the front between those. As to go back into the pits, ready for the next run. Skyline, the only one not to set a time. As BDRW has improved actually to 4th place. So gets a gap from the third, the freeway battle, to then the others. So there you go. Seems very, very interesting indeed, as Craig is 3 tenths up on his, half a second up on his lap time actually. But I think he may go back into the pits and get another set of tyres on ready. Yeah, close one thing. 11.2 as well. I did expect maybe someone to get into the low 11s, but I didn't expect 3 of them to get in there. As Craig does indeed go back into the pits. Let's go back to the fastest lap. I do actually prefer seeing, you know, what lap times they've done. We'll see how close they are towards the end. But Leafly back in the league once again, as I said, is on a reserve for now, but definitely he has definitely improved on the last time I saw him. But it's good to see. It's good to see we got a battle right up the front. Very interesting battle as Shadow Racer is going to begin his lap in the Sauber. Wonderful to see a Sauber in Q3 battling with these guys as he takes that chicane. A little bit sideways on the exit, so not a good start to his lap, but let's see as he goes down into turn 1. Just stay as right as you can, but obviously not touch the grass. Didn't really touch the apex on the first corner, but that can sort of help you, because then you can hug the second part of that corner. And now into the first chicane again. You've got to be very careful of the track limits, and ooh, very close. I wouldn't be surprised if it done it, but as you go down into the second chicane, 3rd gear, but he keeps it in 4th. In fact, goes quite deep. Does a Vettel, really, in 2011. Goes wide into that corner and lost some time there, but it goes onto the this chicane hit. I think it's a little more awkward because the apexes are very, very small. You don't really have much to aim for, and it goes sideways out the exit. So, as he comes down into the hairpin now. Interesting camera on the car there as it goes through the Rolex hairpin. See, I can be unprofessional too, or I can be Van Twister as he comes down into the final chicane. Let's see if he can nail this corner very nicely. Hits both apexes, scrapes the wall on the outside. Kind of the way to do it, to be honest. He crosses the line, doesn't improve on the 13-1, so stays 7th for now. Let's see who else is out there. Optical G currently 9th on a 15-4. We know he's got more than that. Well, I know he's got more than that. Skyline again has yet to set a time. Hasn't really made a gap to him and Optical G. So Optical G is on a lap time and is jumping around a little bit. So not that great. And Skyline is going to be hampered a little bit, in fact. And Optical actually stays out of the way. So good one, Optical. Stays out of the way of Ryan. Yet to set a time. Angerfist is on his lap, went very much over the curbs. That's going to be quite interesting to see. We've got just under 3 minutes to go. This is now the fight for pole position. Who is going to nail this down? I cannot remember for the life of me who got it last time out in Monaco, but I believe it was H or G. Correct me if I'm wrong, but here comes Ryan now into the chicane. He's got to set a proper lap time now as he hits the chicane. Once again, not really using the curbs or the exit as much as you really can, but he gets through on a 12-1, so it goes P5. If he stays there, that's right in the ballpark, but you still got Craig. We know we can go quicker. And let's see, we've got H or G, Angerfist. Angerfist is actually in the pits. He may just have enough time to sell a lap, but let's see what H or G can do. Championship leader, of course, going into this race. Clips both apexes very, very nicely there. Uses the curb now. It should be going down into 3rd gear. In the apex, it's actually keeping it in 4th, actually. So that's a different way of doing stuff. His car slightly bouncing around a little bit, but it's not too bad as he goes into the final chicane. Then very close to the wall, but that's exactly what you want to do. You want to open the curb on the exit that much. He's coming down into there. He's 3/10 up, actually. His lap time. This is a very good lap indeed. If he can keep it going. Shadow Racer in front gets out of the way very nicely. Well done, Sauber. Now come down with the chicane, but this is where the lap is. You're going to be very nervous coming down into the chicane. You've got to get this braking very much right, and he clips the curb on the outside. Is that going to happen a lot? There's barrier again on the outside. He's sideways, but this should be a very good lap time. What does it do? It doesn't. 11-12. He goes just 2nd. Not enough. Not enough for H or G. Makes the gap even stupidly closer. Well, he's on the front row. 100th improvement gets him on the front row. There we go. I noticed Skyline is now on a 12. You can see that barrier going weirdly up, and Leafly has not done well on his lap, so he carries on for another one. Currently he's sitting in pole. Angerfist is on his out lap, so he'll be one of the last people to set a lap time. VDRW, all very wide, in fact touched the wall on the outside, jumping very wildly. Just checking in the pits, it's got very dark again. I was just checking whether there was any rain. Now Craig, now we know he can get an 11.5, so if he hits that, he's in the top 4. And there's VDRW, he's retired on the track, has he? He has indeed. That is wrong. You shouldn't have done that. Well, he'll be going after that as Ryan has retired in the pit, so he's done with him. As Angerfist now going to set his pole time, or fight for pole as well. Who I think is cruising. Yes, he is. So Angerfist is there. Remember, we got Craig down. Who's going to be first to set across? We've also got Optical G. So let's have a look at this. Patronus is going to be the first one, and it's over. The time has stopped now, so this is it. Patronus in the Ferrari. His final lap, attacks the chicane. Again, doesn't use the wide curb, but maybe that works for him. As he comes up to the line, where does it put him? Goes up to 6th on a 12th lap, just goes right behind Ryan in front of Craig, but Craig then takes it right back into 6th. That's ridiculous between the two. Here comes Gary, he's going a lot better, and no, he validates his lap, so he's gone as well. H or G and Angerfist, but it's Optical first. across the line. He was on a 15.4, goes 9th on a 12.6. So it's down to HRG and Angerfist. HRG is going to cross the line. Is it an improvement? Does he tax pole? He does. An 11 flat, but does Angerfist beat it back? I don't know. I think he's still second. He is indeed. He actually went to second, I think. HRG gets position. There he goes. 111 flat. Angerfist went to second and Leafly third. Great stuff from HRG. What a fantastic lap. I should have been on board with that, but I was trying to keep an eye on everyone else. But look how close from... Not even that. It's 500s covering all four of them. That's fantastic. Gary in 8th. Optical G in 9th. And Shadow Racer starts this race in 10th. He'll be still happy with that. But HRG takes the pole position. And let's see if he can convert it into a race victory. Of course, already a race victor this season. Let's see if he can add another to his list. Or can we see a new race winner in Angerfist or Leafly? Of course, they're up there at the front. And let's get set for the race. Completely dry conditions, so this is going to throw strategies way outside the window. You can actually... Why they can actually set on their tyres? No, they have to start on their tyres. So actually, the front three all on super soft. So this is interesting indeed. And then you have the next four on ultras. So that's going to open up strategies indeed. Obviously, anyone outside the top 10, you've got Eagle, Mansell, Acer, Mackie, and Part-Time and Lates. All can start whatever tyres they want. And interestingly, Mackie is going on to the soft tyres, as he normally seems to do. Types of races. But let's have a look at the grid once again. Yes, you can see Acer is also going on to soft tyres, so they're changing their tyres as we speak. But let's have a look at... So we've got the Renault of HLG in first. Angerfist will be joining him on the front row in the Toro Rosso. Of course, former teammates. Angerfist now at Toro Rosso will be right there. And then we have both Red Bulls. So it's a Red Bull third and fourth. Oh, and then both Mercedes. How interesting. So Red Bull 3-4, Mercedes 5-6. And then the Ferrari of Petronas ahead of Gary. So them two are together. That's going to be interesting. And then the Haas of Optical G in 9th. And then Sauber of Shadow with 10th. Eagle has got a lot of work to do from 11th, but it'll be quite interesting to see. Then we got Mansell in the Ferrari in 12th, and then Acer and Mackie will be interesting to see how they go on the soft tyres. Fast Part-Time in 15th and Lates in 16th. 16 drivers ready to go for the start of this race. I really should have bought a drink up. It'd be quite interesting. I can't get a drink now because otherwise I'll miss the start of the race, but yes, I believe it's 35 laps of this race. I hope you are enjoying the coverage so far. Yes, 35 laps are waiting ahead of us. So, big major questions. Of course, you have HLG and Skyline on equal points going into tonight's race. You've got Desert Eagle, who's obviously had 2 races of no points. In Spain, he got disqualified. In Monaco, he crashed. So he'll be desperate to finish this with solid points. He's got to keep an eye on the top 2. And also, you've got the likes of Gary, you've got Craig going into this championship now. Leafly coming back into the league. Can he show to us and to me as well that he has improved with everything? Let's hope we can have a nice, clean and good race going into today. 35 laps ahead. Let's see what will happen. Yes, let's indeed hope for a very clean start to this race as we're going into turn 1. Very, very short run down into turn 1. Let's hope they keep it clean as we're ready for 5 lights for the Canadian Grand Prix. And lights out and away they go. A little bit of a lag start actually. And HLG went flying off in front. Yet he's got a massive advantage in the drive-through for Gary as they go back through the midfield. And there's a few going 3 wide, a few cars jumping sideways as well. Oh, and there's a Red Bull and a Ferrari connecting, and they've locked tyres. I don't know who that is. That's Leafly and Patronus. Leafly and Patronus have locked tyres, and the Red Bull and a Ferrari, unfortunately, they're both into the wall. And, well, that unfortunately is what happens with this contact model. That is such a shame for Patronus. Aiming for Leafly, he was up at the front. But there we go. But HLG leads this from, well, I'd say an interesting start. And Skyler's up to second, actually, in front of his teammate Craig. So Mercedes have had a fantastic start. Ahead of Angerfist as well, so good stuff for them. Ace is up to 8th, in fact up to 7th on the soft tyres. He's making moves. Good start. Where's Desert Eagle? He's 9th. He's with this hill. He's now side by side with Shadow. The Shadow's maintained the position, but he's trying to go around the outside of Desert Eagle there. And there we go. So very interesting start. There's already guys into the pits. I think that's a Force India. Gary, yes it is. He had a drive-through penalty, I think, for a jump start. Must have been for the lag, but very, very interesting stuff. Now to go back up to the front. Got to look at the front though. So the 2 Mercedes shadowing HLG as the connection is not brilliant. I hope it's okay for these guys as Lates is 9th. Lates is up to 9th. What an amazing start from him. He's up to 9th place. He's just passed Fast X part-time, is up into 10th as well, so 2 of them have made a good start. So it's Patronus and Leafly, the 2 that locked together at the start. Now unfortunately had the coming together, you've got Mansell and Fast X part-time battling between each other. Fast X part-time trying to go back on the outside of Mansell. I should just say Dom. I can't say Fast X part-time quickly. Of a jumping round, and Optical is up on the inside of Mackie. There he goes, up into 12th place. Here we go. So HLG, because he obviously is on the super soft, he's got to keep that gap. His main challenger is Angerfist, who's actually got a massively great run on the Skyline, but couldn't make the move stick. There's yellow flags in lap 3. Lates is out. Lates is has he crashed it? Yes, he's the Wall of Champions. He's hit the World Champions. He is the World Champions anyway. Oh, that's a shame. Big shame for Lates. Obviously didn't have the best qualifying. Started 16th, made such a good start. And he's hit the World Champions. Eagle, meantime, has put his qualifying aside. He just moved past Shadow, I believe, into 6th place, who's now battling with Ace. Well, there we go. So Eagle's all the way up to 6th. Wow. Good start from a few. Ace is up to 7th on the soft tyres. Ridiculous. But I do sense the fact that Craig is losing time behind Skyline. Now his Skyline is keeping up on the inside of Craig. Both of them teammates. Oh, and Ace. Oh, I didn't say Ace. It was Angerfist actually. Nearly made contact with the Mercedes of Craig. But all this is doing is allowing HLG to jump forward. Remember, he's on the slower tyre, and Ryan has actually let Craig through. So Craig is now being unleashed. Can Ryan do the job to help out his teammate, who clearly seems to be the faster? But it starts. So there's the midfield. Aces, unbelievable start up to 7th. Ridiculous. He's in between the shadow, in between Shadow and Desert Eagle, who's had an amazing start there. So good one. And Shadow's actually got right back past Acer. So what's happened with there? Acer slowed down. And I don't know whether there was a disagreement or something, but Acer's gone back behind. So, and immediately Craig has actually gone straight back past Ryan. And Ryan is already dropping back. Leafly sets the fastest lap of the race in clean air. He's 22 seconds behind anyone else. Such a shame for him, and the Patronus obviously as well. Well, Patronus has gone onto the soft tyres, and they may go to the end actually, because soft tyres are quite good on this track. So over here, so Angerfist has the DRS obviously, and is now right behind the Mercedes of Skyline. Craig is definitely gapped to Skyline, but doesn't seem to be catching HLG. Remember, HLG is very good around this track. Obviously much better in the wet weather. Definitely very intriguing to see what Craig can do. if Craig wants to win this race, he has to get and pass HLG, because HLG will be in the fast tyre later on. As Mansell has made a way past Acer. Acer's now with his teammate Dom. So Acer's dropping back. I don't know what is going on with him. And now fast part time is up in the 10th place. There's Mansell. What's Mansell doing? Mansell's paused it, or he's got an AI. That's what's happened, and Dom's trying to avoid him. And Mansell's unghosted, but he's lost 2 positions already. I don't know what Mansell did there. Might have been interesting. As HLG. What's that with HLG? No. I saw the thing change at the top, and I know it played a fool. He played a fool of the timing when, as if he lost the position. I thought he made a mistake, but he's still up there in first. Made me panic a little bit. But Acer now is holding up this train of Dom, and now Dom is right behind. No, Mansell's now up behind Dom. Fast part time. You've got Optical G a few attempts back. So they all go through now. And they hold position, but interesting stuff down in the midfield. Angerfist yet again cannot seem to find a way past Skyline. Skyline is holding back this gap now. He's already 2 seconds behind his teammate, who is trying to get as close as he can to the lead. So these lead pairs pushing each other. But Craig, as I said, if he wants to win this race, has got to get past HLG before he makes his pit stop. Ideally, because HLG again will be on the faster tyre. He's also going longer in this race as well. That's been spread out. Mansell's still within a tenth, more than 2 tenths of F1 Acer, and he's actually fast part time has made his way past Acer, so Acer's let his teammate through. Optical's looking up on the inside. Mansell, slight gap. Whoa, wasn't really a gap to go for. Mansell's looking up at the back of Acer. Really here, keeping an eye on the front. Angerfist is getting quite close to Ryan, but I think it's stable. Mansell's going to look on the inside of Acer. He's not really close enough. Acer just about keeps into 9th place. As BDRW's in the pits. Quite early pit stop. As Skyline Angerfist. No. Lag again. What are we doing? They may be battling because they're quite close to one another. And Angerfist is looking to try and make a move into the second chicane, but it's not close enough. It's in there. So BDRW is in the pits and comes out in 11th place just by the looks of the timing board. As oh, different camera. It should have been looking at the front. Or I should have been. As Angerfist was looking up the outside of Ryan. So Ryan is definitely holding Angerfist back. Angerfist is going to get frustrated here, and I hope he's not going to do anything rash. Obviously, he's going to wait for the opportune moment here. Skyline is doing it for his team, as Optical has made his way past Acer now into 8th. So Ace is dropping back a little bit. Fast part time's into 7th, as Angerfist is going to go up on the inside. Surely make the move down. No. Skyline much later on the brakes. Angerfist was very, very early on the brakes there, so couldn't get the move done. So he's there in 4th. Shadow is sticking up there in 6th place, keeping right behind, well, not right behind, he's within 2 seconds of Eagle. Eagle, as I said, as you can see, position change up 6 places, but Dom's up 8, so he's had a great stuff. His teammate Acer, who was planning to go long on the soft tyres, he's in the pits. He's dropped down massively. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's down there now. And BDRW is in 10th. I thought he was battling with Gary, but Gary's actually quite far back. The timing page is a little bit all over the place as they go through. As you can see, there's position changes are going up and down. But Craig has got the gap down to 1.2 seconds, but can't seem to get it back down any further. HLG seems to be very, very good at this track indeed. And Angerfist is still cannot find a way past Ryan. Overtaking seems to be problematic, which is weird, because normally overtaking is quite easy to do. Maybe it's these cars, I don't know. As we go on to lap 10 of this Grand Prix. No, lap 9, sorry. As they're going into turn 1. Ryan, again, he's nearly 5 seconds behind Craig, and definitely let Craig through to have a go at the leader, and he's just holding Angerfist back, and Angerfist is just seeing, well, a win just disappear off of the front because of his fight there. Skarner goes very, very deep into that chicane there, and Angerfist got a much better drive, but it's not close enough really to make a move. Ryan makes a defense move up on the inside, but Angerfist is very, very wise. He's not gonna jump for a move, not gonna lunge, not gonna do a dive bomb here. He might have a go up on the inside of the hair, but no, he's waiting for the DRS once again. Getting a much better drive, and Ryan was very wide, but the traction for Angerfist wasn't great. Of course, Ryan's on the faster tyre. Makes this overtake a lot more difficult. They go down into the chicane now, get the braking correctly, mind the curbs, and once again they go through. Craig's gap to the lead is up to 2.2. You got Desert Eagle is slowly catching, I believe, behind these two, so a podium is not out of the question for Desert Eagle. Even despite starting 11th, he's definitely done a good job. As yellow flags are set to 3. Gary Allbones retired. No, Gary's crashed. Gary's has crashed it. Wall of Champions. He is out. He's not a champion. He may be a champion in the future, but he is out of this. BDLW's in the pits again. Leafly's up to 12th now. Will be up to 11th due to his teammate. But Gary is out. That is a shame. As Fast Part-Time has ghosted. Why is he ghosted? Is he race? I want to get him back. As Angerfist has actually made a way through. I missed it. Damn it. I missed it, but Angerfist has gone wide. Angerfist has gone wide, and Ryan trying to get the better run out of the... But he's got DRS, or does he have DRS? Yes, he does. Can he make a move right? Angerfist defends up on the inside and should come back onto the racing line. Yes, he's perfectly fine to do that. But Angerfist is through. I missed it because of what was happening back behind there, but wow. So there we go. Angerfist through now into 3rd place, but he's now lost. Well, he's... How much is he behind the leader? He is 7.6 seconds behind the leader now. So not out of the question, obviously, of getting a decent result, but he's... Well, that's the position change now. And we have up 6 for Eagle, up 6 for Dom. Kind of Eagle for me is looking very good, but Craig Senna's had a good start to this race. But Ryan, as soon as being passed by Angerfist, is dropping back from the front 3. Doesn't seem to have the pace to keep with the front guys as the moment time. But speaking of can't keep on from front, HLG now has just over 3 seconds to Craig now. Craig did have a challenge, but I think his tyres may be losing their optimum performance. Remember, these Ultra Softs, they are really good on the first, second lap, and in fact he does actually pit. So into the pits he goes. For Craig Senna. See his first race in GP2, wants to get off to a very good start. He's going to come on to the Super Softs, yes indeed. Has to wait a little bit actually, so I don't think anybody else was in the pits as Gary has left the session. Not a good night for him. Where's Craig going to come out? He's going to come up behind Shadow and Optical. Optical's up to 6th. Mansell 7th. Here comes Craig, and he's going to come out right in front of Mansell. So one of Mansell behind Optical. That hasn't exactly worked out for him, because look at the traffic he's going to now deal with. Optical is now right behind Shadow, and yellow flags are set to 3. What's going on with that? But Shadow is now defending this 5th place, and you've got Craig just recently come out of the pits. This is not going to help Craig at all, as BDLW has retired. As he's retired on the track. Got to go back up to the battle as Optical. Oh no, it's a fence. Shadow goes sideways, clips Optical. There's damage, and Lates has left. Oh no. Marcos Lates was already out, as Craig has jumped up on the inside of Optical, and give him the space on the outside. Got to be careful here, Craig. As whoa, as the two of them Locking tyres there, all three of them going down to the chicane. And Optical's looking up on the inside of Shadow. Can he make it through? No, Shadow's into the pits. And that could have been interesting. Craig is now looking up at the back of Master Optical. And he's trying to move up on the inside there. Into turn one. Optical gives him the space. Just about. Locking tyres. Craig has to go wide. Craig still side by side with Optical. Still, oh no, Optical's just let him through there. So Craig into fifth, but he's definitely lost a lot of time with that battling there. He's up into fifth and can now continue chasing down, but he's lost a lot of time to HLG already now, so he's got to get on with it. Yeah, interesting race so far. Closest battle on the track at the moment as pit stops are going underway is between, it's actually between Leafly and Mackie. Leafly is actually making his way back through. Mackie opens the door for him actually and lets him through. Leafly on the super soft. Mackie hasn't pitted yet. Skyline is now in the pits, so in he comes. So Leafly's recovering somewhat up into 8th place now, so there's good stuff from him. Skyline onto the soft tyres, interestingly. Okay. Interesting stuff. That should definitely get him to the end of the race, but I'm very curious about those soft tyres. Could be quite interesting to see where he ends up, but he's going to come up behind Mackie, he is. Yep. In fact, Shadow as well made his way onto the soft tyres, so interesting strategy going on there. But Ryan, once again, is going to have Mackie for company, actually. So Ryan hasn't really come out in traffic. Same as his teammate, but teammate's actually way in front now. So, yeah, in fact, Craig's jumped maybe 10 seconds from Ryan. That is a long gap. And HLD sped in the pit lane. He has not slowed down in time. That's going to hurt him a lot. Ooh, dear, dear, as he makes his pit stop. Ryan is going up on the inside of Mackie, down into the hairpin. That should be done, done. Yes, it is. But yeah, HLG, and again him going onto the soft tyres. Once again, well, interestingly, last night, that's the strategy which I would have done if it was dry, because the pit crews, when I did practice early this week, they gave us the strategy of a 2-stop, which is interesting. HLG's come up 13th. That's not right. Craig's in the pits. Why is Craig in the pits? Has he had damage? I think he may have done, but an unscheduled pit stop for Craig. And yeah, so there's HLG. Let's get everything back. There we go. Wait. We lost quite a bit. So HLG's lost time with his pit stop, but Craig's made an unscheduled pit stop. So that's happened there, and Ryan has had a penalty. The track limits, I presume. The connection is not brilliant tonight, I must be said. As Alan puts his hand up for some weird reason. So that's that. So Mansell and Optical a lot together in this. Let's have a look at the stops. So you've got Angerfist, Eagle, Optical, Mansell and Mackie yet to stop. Craig has made 2 stops, unfortunately. So I was hoping he can recover from that. He's on the soft tyres, but he's lost a heck of a lot of times. Optical is now in the pits. Angerfist is always in the pits. He comes out on the soft tyres. So that's good for him as he comes out in front. Now, of course, he will be in front of Craig, but he's now 5 seconds behind HLG. So that could be quite interesting. Obviously, HLG has that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And obviously that goes on to his next stop, or goes on to his time by the end, so that could be quite interesting. Eagle now leads this race. There's the Eagle now leads. Shadow is right behind Fast Part Time. As Fast Part Time stopped, he has, but he stopped quite early on, I believe, onto the Super Softs, as the timing is going absolutely all over the place. I'm having problems. Here we go. Got Optical G actually is right behind in 9th. Is now actually behind Shadow. Oh, whoa, and Yeah, a bit of a jump there. That was weird to see. Interesting there. The lag is not great as Shadow goes very, very wide. Is Optical going to go through? I can't watch him because it's making me interested. As Ace is retired. Oh, he's tires into the wall. Ace is out. As Eagle's now into the pit, so that's unfortunate for Acer. He actually qualified very, very well. As Eagle's now come out in 4th place on the soft tyres. Trust me, it's soft tyres, not super soft, as you can see on his car. But coming out in 4th place, that's good stuff. So a podium for Eagle is actually on the cards for him, despite starting in 11th place. As I need to check some messages here. As Craig sent some footage there. I don't know why he sent this to us, but yeah, there's a few drivers not happy with this, with a few of their incidents there, but or we can finalize them up. So H&G leads this race by just under 6 seconds from Angerfix now in 2nd. Desert Eagle, as I said, is actually on for a podium. It's ridiculous. And so, but he's added all credit to him. He's had a very good start. H&G sets fastest up on the race of 14.1 on the soft tyres, interestingly, so that's good stuff from him. So Mansell is the last person in the jigsaw, really, as is Mackie. Mackie's yet to stop. He's down to 11th, but Mansell is the last person in this jigsaw, really, to find out where he comes out. Let's see, Craig has made his way past Shadow, DRS, up on the inside there. So Shadow dropping down a little bit from his high grid position, but he doesn't need to stop again. And I believe the guys on the Super Softs, you got Fast Part Time is currently 7th, and Leafly, who pitted very, very early on, needs to pit again. So keep an eye on them, as we've only just gone halfway in this race. Still quite a way to go. And the gaps have spread out just a tad. So pit stops have obviously gone to that. Mansell, as I said, he's being caught by Desert Eagle quite rapidly. But of course he goes on the very fresh tyres. Down into the final chicane now. The top two gone away. Mansell in 3rd is 7 seconds behind everyone else. Dom is actually catching up to Ryan, in fact, on the super soft tyres here. So we could have a battle here. Ryan very, very cautious out of the final chicane. And in fact, Dom is going to have a great run on him. Go down into turn 1. He's not be close enough for a move. But Ryan is really struggling. I don't know what is going on with this. Does he have damage? Don't think he does. Just doesn't seem to like these tyres at all. Soft tyres, they're very, very durable, but they're not grippy at all, as Dom very much on the inside there. Got to be very, very careful, and he might be having a look into the chicane. Ryan slightly defending, but Ryan Dom goes for the dive bomb and makes it work. That was from quite far back, but Ryan was very wise to it and made sure he left the space, but that was definitely a massive lunge from Dom. Up on the inside, 6th place, and he's actually crossed the wall on the outside, and Ryan's going to have a go back. So they go down into the hairpin. Let's see what he can do. The camera goes back in, and Dom flies up on the inside, still keeps the move. Can Ryan do a cutback? Yes, he does. Slight contact of tyres between the two of them. And Ryan wants to make it past Dom, and he's going to have the DRS. Can he surely make a move? Oh, Dom, slight move to defend. There was a bit of a squeeze there. Ryan's up on the inside anyway and gets it, but Dom is back up, and again. Oh, given the space, he's still there. Dom's up on the inside of Ryan. Clean racing between the pair of them. They're trying to give each other the space. Dom actually gets a penalty for trying to give the space there, so interesting stuff. But side by side between the pair of them, this battle raid is on. This is for 6th place of this, and Craig actually is only 2.5 behind him, is catching. So good stuff. Desert Eagle's actually now moved into 3rd place past Mansell, so Desert Eagle is on for a podium, just over 9 seconds off, but I think he will take 3rd after starting 11th. Good drive so far. Not been much from the front runners. I mean, HLG has led from the start, but obviously he's got that penalty on him as Dom late on the brakes. Late on the brakes, Mr. Dom. Then he hit in the back of the Mercedes there. As they go through. Optical is within a second of Craig, but not close enough. As Mansell finally ends up into the pits. I presume he must go onto the Ultra, maybe as Ryan made a horrible mess of the final chicane, and surely fast part time is through. Yes, he does. Yes, he does on the inside, but Ryan's trying to go on the outside. Dom gives him room. Goes over the curbs, actually. As Mansell is actually in the pits on the ultra soft tyres. Jesus, he's going to be flying back through. But he comes out in 10th place, got a lot of work to do. But he's there. But this battle is the closest on track. It's Tom. Tom goes deep into the corner. Decide who's going to be fifth. As soon as someone gets in front, they make a mistake, and then we're once back again. And you've got Mercedes, as I said, as Craig is catching right back up. But Dom, no, it goes wide, no! Contact between the two of them. And Ryan's out. Ryan is out. Oh, it all ended in tears. No. Craig's back up to fifth, but Ryan is out of the race. Oh, it all ended in tears. It was going so well. The battle was good to watch and dramatic, but Dom made a mistake and just he couldn't correct himself. He bounced off the wall, came back on, and Ryan just wrong place, wrong time, out of the race. Ouch. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I'm sure there's going to be words of exchange, but I don't think that was Fast Part Time's fault. He's in the pits anyway, is Dom, but I hope Ryan is okay after that. He's not going to be happy. Wrong place at the wrong time there. Not good. Send invite, I'll join. Okay, we'll get Ryan in here. He wants to have words, but it's all going so well. No. Let's see whether he can join me in the commentary box here. We'll have his word as we'll see Mansell with Shadow up on the inside, going down to the chicane in the third one. Just about the rim. Yeah, Shadow had to get that one up. Mansell's through, but Ryan, no. It was all going so well.
It wasn't going so well. Did you not see me spin out on turn 2?
And I don't think I saw that. But no, I meant the battle with Dom. The battle with Fast Part Time. That was good. I was enjoying it. And then though, it was just the wrong place, the wrong time, wasn't it? He made a mistake,
I thought about being able to nip on the inside because I thought he might be able to catch the car, and he didn't catch the car. And it was like a little bit of a glitch kind of thing where we just stuck to each other. So I'm not too bothered about that one. I mean, it happens, that sort of thing. So
no. But HLG, your championship rival, looks very strong in this race. Currently leading by just over 6 seconds. Definitely looks strong for this, doesn't he? But he does have a penalty hanging over him.
He does, yeah. As far as I'm aware, there's a couple. I think he's got a 5-second stop going. I think he's got a normal 3-second as well. So yeah. We'll see how that affects him, because as it stands at the minute, he'll be maybe dropped to third.
Indeed, indeed. I mean, Desert Eagle's made an absolute good start. I mean, the gap is quite spread out from him in the top two, but he's into third place. A good podium for him. Any idea what happened to your teammate? Because he made an unscheduled stop. And he was battling up the front there.
There's a laggy car. Laggy optical G damaged his front wing, so he had to come in again.
Oh, that's a shame. It really is. But he's made it back up to fourth, so that's up there. And Leafly is catching up to Shadow. Shadow's dropped a bit down to 7th place now. But Leafly is catching up. Leafly, while I was getting Ryan in, has actually made another pit stop to Ultra Soft, so he'll be flying back up through the field, hopefully, as he comes up behind.
What did you think of qualifying? That was interesting, wasn't it?
That was dramatic. Very dramatic. I mean, that was... What on earth was Q2? Because it started, intermediates.
That's what I was on about.
I need to watch that back, because I was on board with, naturally I was on board with people, and all of a sudden it stopped raining and the track's drying out. What?
It was very
When
weird.
did I notice that? Leafly is trying to go around the outside of Shadow. This is going to be a tense move. Nicely done.
Shadow was being a
gaining
bit
space.
too cautious there.
Yeah, bit too nice. Bit too nice.
Yeah. But Mansell's closing in on the back of Optical, so that could be a nice little battle brewing up because of the ultra soft tyres.
So what have you thought of the pace of tonight? Obviously you've got HLG who seems to love this track. You got Angerfist was up there in qualifying. He's I noticed you held him back in the first stint, so obviously that's hampered his chances. You got Craig up there, but Leafly looks good. I mean, he unfortunately got caught up in the first lap shenanigans, so not great.
I need to watch the stream back to see what happened there because all I heard was chaos, and I was like, I'm glad I'm not there. Even though I started fifth and I got second before the first corner because of the lag start. I mean, Cody's, you haven't failed to disappoint me yet again this week. Another Cody's error.
Indeed. Lobby connection isn't that great on my end, I must say, Brian. I don't think it's anything to do with you. I think it's just general servers. They're not having a good day, I think. So
I think
problems.
Cody's are having issues because if you remember, a few people had that issue where they couldn't see any gamer tags in the lobby. A few people had that apart from me as well. So I think Cody's is just having a off day. Just having a bit of a break with servers.
HLG 9 laps to go. It's actually extended his gap to Anglerfist. Just over 8 seconds. So, I mean, obviously he's beating you today, Ryan, and obviously unless he crashes. And then you're still both on the same points, but you're thinking of kind of getting one back over him on in Baku next week?
If I can keep it clean through the castle sector, I'm normally quite quick around Baku. I should try and... Well, I should hopefully be able to hold off Angerfist and HOG and hopefully try and get a podium next week, but this week was just a bit of a week.
Bit of an
Yeah.
And the gaps are quite spread out. I mean, the battle is... I mean, it's Leafly, really. He's on an absolute charge. Currently in 7th, behind this place. Optical's car is quite jumpy, I must say.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know where Leafly is. That's one thing that was being mentioned quite a bit in...
Mansell's darted on the inside, has actually made the move. I know he hasn't, because he has. Oh, this is not good.
We need to do a similar thing to him as what we did to a couple of other people. Give him a warning, trying to say your connection needs to improve, but unfortunately he can't race because you can't battle him without connection.
Be messy. I think Mansell's made his way through, but Leafly's going to be side by side with Mansell actually. Up for 5th place into turn 1. Mansell defending robustly as he would do. Both on ultra softs. Oh, hand of rage from Leafly's driver. Mansell's up on the inside. They're still side by side. Oh, jeez.
That was a great little battle there. That was nice.
That was very nice. But Leafly back up in the 5th place. Obviously, I do feel sorry for Leafly because he did qualify very well, and I think if he didn't get caught up with Petronas' car at the start, then he may be challenging HLG at the front, but good recovery back up to 5th. Very nice.
I'll say it's a bit more spread out than I thought it was, because people are saying, like, we're communicating quite well with each other in the party. And it seemed like people were really close, but looking at the timings now, like, you've got this little battle here with Mansell and Leafly, and apart from that, there isn't really much else.
No. And of course, there's been things that have contributed to that, though, so... I noticed how most people went onto the onto the soft tyres, so it was that little strategy.
Yeah, I was hoping a lot of people wouldn't take that strategy. I was hoping a few people would just go for the 2-stop and play safe, and then I was gonna try the 1-stop. I always had that intention in mind. I was gonna try and make the jump on nerf everyone to get back up to the podium, but
Gonna get Shadow back in. Oh my god! Damn it!
yeah. I mean, the gap's all starting to form out a little bit. Closest battle is still between Mansell and Leafley, but yeah, it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting any action in the next couple of laps unless something dramatic happens. Let something dramatic happen. Somebody crash, please. Entertain us.
You don't want people crashing. Come on.
Martin, you know the Wall of Champions. Even though you're not quite a champion yet, can you hit that wall?
Martini, come on. Martini! There we go. I wanted you to say that just once. Oh, and Ryan, I called it the Rolex hairpin.
Oh, yeah.
The Rolex hairpin. Oh my god.
Yeah, the flag's in Sector 1. I'm trying to find out who that is. Don't really see anything, to be honest. It might be just something from the marshals. Maybe they just want to wave their yellow flags just for the hell of it.
Maybe they're bored of the race as well.
Yeah, the gaps have sprung out a bit. Even Mansell and Leafley has gone wide out, so which is a shame. But anyway, I mentioned in this race the transfer window. Obviously, we will reveal all how we're going to do it at the weekend. But is there anything that you want to do? Is there any drivers that you're looking at that you want to buy? Well, tell me your secrets, your scheming plans that you want to try and do.
I will have to try and keep the drivers I've got. Like, I'm not planning to get rid of anyone or trade anyone. I'm not planning to. If I get given the option, I'm not planning to accept any offers. So that's pretty much a no-go for me at the minute. I'm just trying to keep what I have, work on the team I've got, because there's everyone in the team at the minute is competitive minded. Like, no one basically says, F it, I can't be arsed this week. Apart from maybe Craig, but hopefully with a step down going to GP2, hopefully now he finds himself in a few more battles and finds a bit more energy to keep racing again. Because, if you look at the way I'm thinking with Craig, if he didn't have that damage and he didn't have made that extra pit stop, he would probably be up there battling in and around with Angerfist at this point.
Maybe even challenge HRG, because that's the reason you let him through.
I did let him through, but
so,
I didn't really let him through because he was quicker than me tonight. I let him through because I was making a few mistakes and I was like, well, I'm just going to cost Craig time here making all these mistakes. So I let him through and just I'm just going to sit back, try and regain my composure and see if I can come back later on in the race to overtake them. But obviously Fast X crash time is still living up to his name, so...
we didn't mean it. It was a mistake.
Yeah, I know it didn't mean it.
Ooh.
I mean,
a scrape from a little bit of a scrape from HLG against the wall there. You heard the noise of the tyre against metal. So not home and dry just yet, HLG. Be careful.
Coming up to that Mackie though, so maybe Mackie can brake check him somewhere. That'd be appreciated. Hopefully Mackie lets him through safely. Sorry, I meant to say that. I meant to say let him through safely.
Yes, you did. So obviously, coming up to the midway point of the championship, some interesting tracks coming up, like Austria, Silverstone, Belgium, obviously. Is there any track you're looking forward to the most, or is this your weak part of the championship?
There's 3 tracks I'm looking forward to that are coming up, which is Italy, because I want to try and do a similar thing to what I did in F1, try and get some really quick laps in early. Looking forward to Spa, because what Spa's like, it's such a long lap, and if it starts raining and you decide to push one more lap, it can mess you up massively, so that'd be quite interesting. And I would like to say Silverstone, but I don't enjoy Silverstone, but I am looking forward to Baku, because Baku is kind of like Monaco through the cancel section. It's not necessarily who's the quickest, it's who's going to survive. What about you, Michael? What are you looking forward to that's coming up?
Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to Baku next week. Definitely looking forward to it. I know time trial isn't really a thing you should look at, but Baku is... Oh, Dom's disqualified. No. No point.
So you take me out and you get yourself disqualified. God!
No points for Dom. No. He's going through this again, isn't he? Like last season. I mean, by
Yeah.
Hungary last season, he hadn't had any points, and this one he's got 8. But now he's going through a period where he's not scoring any points. Oh, HLG
I
number
mean, he's doing
penalty.
better than last season already.
Uh-oh. Yeah. He's doing better, but he's gone on that Baron spare again.
I'm just trying to think, what's the next 3 tracks? You got Baku, then what's the next 2?
Austria.
Austria, then
Baku,
Silverstone.
Austria, Silverstone, then Hungary, then Belgium. Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to Baku. Very much looking forward to it. It's actually a track I'm very fast at. I
just
believe
wanna,
it could be.
I was just going to say, when I remember to say this, I do want to give every driver that was there praise for what they did tonight with the lap around USA, because it went very well. No one talked. Those who thought that they might interrupt with like coughing or sneezing, whatever, if they felt like they were going to at some point, they did mute their mics, which was respectful. And then people just, as soon as we crossed the line, people flew off into the distance and crashed. Some of them. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
so, yeah, but at least it was done, and it was good, and that will be actually completely separate to this race, because I had to stop the stream and restart, so that will be probably put on separately. Driver of the day candidates. Let's have a look at this. Position changes. I mean, Desert Eagle is a big shout because obviously he started 11th. I said he needed to do something from there, and he's in 3rd. A bit lucky because a few people have had problems, like Craig and a couple of others, yourself crashing out, you got Gary as well. So Desert Eagle's a big shout. I mean, Craig with a sort of recovery back from his position. Leafley's up there.
Can I put forward 3 people for you to think about? Desert Eagle, just for simply the places he's gained, and he's been patient at times, but he's also been a bit aggressive. Craig for the comeback drive and making a pit stop he didn't want to make, and HLG for the dominance that he had in this race.
Yeah, very good, as HLG is in fact on his last lap. It has been dominant. It has really been dominant. I mean, qualifying was a very close one thing with an absolute blinder of a lap, which he did right at the end of the session. I wish I should have been on board, but I was trying to, look at everyone, because that's how dramatic it was at the end. With Angerfist and HLG, the last ones to set their time. But he's done this. He was determined coming into this race. He knew, especially if it rains, that he'll be near the top. He sliced his way out the hairpin there. All he's got to negotiate is the final chicane. I mean, the horrible thing right now is if he crashes at this final corner, so close from home with a almost 11-second gap. I'm sure he's going to take it very cautiously. Yes, he does. Comes round the final corner and takes the win in Canada. There we go. Straight across the line. Angerfist in his official, I say, full debut in the Toro Rosso and GP2. He's going to take home 2nd. He weaves across the line very nicely. No! Oh. Yeah, timings again. Timings. The timing screen done it. But Desert Eagle, I say Desert Eagle probably gets my drive of the day. I'm probably going to think about it a little bit more as I interview. But he comes home in 3rd, well, maybe 3rd, we'll see, because of the penalties and all that. Leafley was catching Craig, and in fact, Leafley does get Craig because of penalties. So Leafley does get 4th, Craig 5th. Mansell picks up 6th place in the Ferrari. 7th is going to be Optical G, is it? Yes?
Yep.
Watch the timings. And Shadow Racer, 8th place, is going to take home 4 points for him, which I believe is his first points of the season. So well done to him, as he's going to take the final lap. I do got to give a mini shout out to Shadow, because he's, second time in Q3, I believe, and he picks up points. So mini shout out to him. as he goes through. And then we did actually have rain at the end, which again went unnoticed.
It was very strange because when just before I crashed, my engineer said like rain in 10 minutes. I was like, oh, fuck! I don't want this to rain. No, go away.
Yeah, and you call me like the Rain Prince, was it last night? If I'm the Rain Prince, I should know when it's coming along. There you go, HLG, the Renault on the top step of the podium. They've done well the last 3 weeks in F1 and GP2. So Renault are coming back into this overall championship, if you will. He takes it with the Toro Rosso of Angerfist, which is actually for Toro Rosso. Yeah. For Toro Rosso, they had 4 points going into this race. So, well.
He's a big boost for that team. Big boost. He'll keep scoring points. He'll get a few podiums this season. I'm calling it now. Like that won't be his first. Well, it won't be his last. Sorry, it's his first, but won't be his last. There we go.
Can you take a screenshot of that and then send it to me in a bit? So HLG takes the victory from Angerfist second. Desert Eagle a great drive to third. Leafly fourth. Craig Senna fifth. Then Mansell sixth. Optical Shadow, Mackie and Patronus picks up the last point on his full debut.
Yeah, Patronus had quite a few issues that race as well. He was another driver that didn't have the best of luck.
There's quite a few that didn't have their best races, but let us get the front three in.
We don't need to get them three in. We can just end the stream. Thank you guys for watching this video. See you later. Bye. No.
No.
Oh, worth a try.
Stay here. Stay here. Right, HLG, where are you? Where'd he go? Oh, he's there.
He's below Craig.
I know. If you want to ask the questions in your voice, then go ahead. The voice.
What, the weird voice?
The squeaky voice, the Elmo.
Sure.
Elmo.
Sure.
I'm gonna call it Elmo. I'm gonna kill the Elmo. Angerfist, the Italian, of course.
Who finished where again? I can't remember who got third.
So can I ask who got driver of the day?
Not you.
I'll get to that.
Well,
You can fuck off. You didn't do anything. You just sat there and drove the car. It was shit.
actually, no. I had to control that gap. Thank you very much.
No, you didn't. You had it easy.
No.
I'm professional all the way through. Bring it back.
You've got Ryan in the party. Of course, it was going to become unprofessional.
Hi guys. Welcome to the podium.
Stop it. Enough the dry voice. Right. We're ticking the box. Oh, it's right.
What do you mean tick the box? We're doing a quiz.
Whoa. Michael's laughing.
Please tell me if actually. Please tell me if you put the tick in the box right in the whole thing and you've been silently all the way through since you joined.
I don't know. I haven't done the quiz yet. I haven't ticked anything.
Right, let's go to the third place on the podium, Mr. Desert Eagle. I said after qualifying, after you started 11th place on the grid, that you had to come through. You had to show me your mettle, show me your worth. And you have very much indeed. Obviously with problems to others, but not taking anything away from you. That was a very good try to third place, and obviously keeping in touch with HRG, your championship rival. You must be quite happy with that result.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Well, I was quite lucky actually because I got the biggest lag start known to man. I jumped 3 people off the start because of their lag. And then 2 people crashed, so that gave me 2 more. Then Skyline spun right in front of me, so that was 1 more position. So I was just when I got into third, I was just like, right, I just don't crash. I mean, I got close to crashing like so many times, and it was like ridiculous. Yeah, but third, please tell me I overtook Skyline, and I'm back in second place.
Yeah, you have.
No.
Yeah, you were 4 points behind.
Oh,
Disqualified.
You're 4 points behind, so yeah, you're fine. I think you're second behind HLG. If my maths are
Alright.
correct, I believe they must be.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I just
so
scored.
yeah, so good result, as I said. Keeps in touch in the top 3 of the championships. Yeah, very well done to you. So we got on to second place, Angerfist. Obviously, your full proper debut, I guess, because you reserved for Renault in Spain. So you're now
Yes.
in the Toro Rosso, and I said on the podium, obviously going into this race, Toro Rosso had a measly 4 points going into this, so a big boost for your team owner and teammate, who unfortunately wasn't here tonight. I'm sure he'll be very, very happy that you came home with 18 points to kick off your season as well as Toro Rosso's.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, for the qualify, I had a bit of a rough start at Q3 because I got blocked by Ferrari. And I've recorded that as well. And then I do another run on my Ultras, but I had 2 fresh sets because I haven't used my Ultras on Q1 and 2. And then at the start, I had a rough start because I think same as what Eagle was saying. There was a lag start recorded as well, and I thought the number 1 jump started there as well, but I've lost a couple places, and then I got stuck behind Skyline. I was a bit faster than him on the straights because I did on his DRS, but I couldn't manage to pass him, and so I had to be patient, and I took him over, or overtook him at the starting sector 2, and so far at the end of the race, it was just bringing it home. It was just I had a big gap between me and Eagle, so I had nothing to lose and no threats at all. So I was running it home. A good race.
Indeed, and you definitely brought home the points for yourself and Toro Rosso today. So well done on your first
Thank
proper
you.
debut for GP2. So good start for you. But we go to the winner, Mr. HLG, which I believe is your second win.
Second win.
Second win off the
Australia.
what race?
Was
Australia,
the very first
obviously.
race,
From the
Michael.
opening
North
round, yes,
Melbourne.
of course. Of course, and obviously you got that victory because the late JB had a penalty. So, obviously, no, Xbox, please sort out your parties. We are connecting. Why? No. Oh. Damn it. Oh. Bear with me, guys. Alright, sorry about that. Bear with me, guys. We had a party problem there, so I want to still speak to Martin. Let's get him in. Come on. Why? Why that now?
Have you noticed this every time I win? Every time I win and you come to me, that's when something goes wrong.
I know. Right, so let's carry on. Let's carry on for now. Obviously, here by yourself. Fine. Whatever. Yeah, so obviously you had a really good pole lap, and then obviously from the start, little bit of a gap that you had to manage at the start, but obviously your pit stop, you had a few seconds, and it was just almost plain sailing. Or would you not agree? Were you still pushing for your win there?
I was definitely still having to push a bit. I mean, my qualifying was a little bit lucky to get into Q3 because the game didn't tell me I invalidated my lap, so I was lucky to get through that. And then I really had to push for the pole lap. And then from the start of the race, I wouldn't say it was easy. Yeah, I led the race the whole way, but at one point I had Craig come in, and then I got my drive through, my drive through, which, in my opinion, I was under the speed limit, but we can look at that. And then I obviously got my 3 second right at the end, so I knew I had to gain a gap on Angerfist in second. But So I had to push right at the end, which was not fun on those tires. But other than that, yeah, it was just having the gap at the front.
Indeed. And obviously with Desert Eagle, well, he still recovered to third place, but with Ryan, your championship rival, crashing out, obviously going into Baku next week, you have quite a bit of a gap. I believe of a gap, so 11 points, I believe it is, over Eagle going into Baku. So it's a decent gap, but still, you have to keep the momentum going. So what do you think going into Baku? Is it going to be another one of those survival races like Monaco, or not so?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm confident around Baku, purely because of the castle section. That seems to where I make most of the mistakes on that track, like most people. So I think it is going to be a case of survive, but as well as that, have the pace. I think it's like a mixture of both.
Indeed, but yes, well done today for your second race of the season. As I said, you did put a tick in the box, didn't you? Race victory of the season in Canada. So there we go. We had a party disconnect, and we just had the race winner join me. But there you go. But yeah, that has been the Canadian Grand Prix. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. That was an interesting race. Got a few dry parts in the end, so that was a shame. But still, a good, interesting race. And driver of the day, before we move on to Baku, I am going to give it to HLG. So congratulations to you, Martin.
Yes!
So,
I got everything.
Yay! Well done to you. So there we go. So yes, driver of the day and race winner and pole position. Yay! So good for you. So moving on to the next Grand Prix, Azerbaijan, the Baku City Circuit, of course, in 2017, in the real life, that produced, in my opinion, the best race in the, well, at least 10 years, I'd say. Debatable, but definitely a good shout. Can we see something of a similar effect? Definitely has all the ingredients with the castle section. You can see it there. Everyone's dreading it. And of course, the possibility of wet weather. Sometimes it does it in league races, and of course, relatively new, I guess. It's joined since 2016, so relatively new. Should see a lot of overtakes, but definitely drama as well. So join us, please, for the next round of course, the F1 division, which will be on the Thursday. We will see how Luki does since his promotion back into the F1 division. He now drives for Toro Rosso, so we'll see him driving there on Thursday nights, as well as Franti. Can he continue his race form that sees him have the lead of an early championship? So that will be Thursday at 6:40, well, 7 o'clock, race start. And then obviously the GP2 guys will be back in on Friday as well. So join us then for there. Until next time, good night, everyone.
Night, people.